let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks as the trade deadline approaches. The Seattle Seahawks have made a crucial move to help out this defense going forward with the addition of none other than Leonard Williams. I think this is going to be a big time move for Seattle, making that playoff push at 5-2. They're looking really, really good, especially the injury to Matthew Stafford kind of helps them get into this NFC West race full bore. I think they have a chance to win the whole thing. They get a little bit of help, and Leonard Williams could be that guy. But let's get into the article, get through all the particulars. We'll talk about it on the other side. New York Giants have agreed to trade former Pro Bowl defensive lineman Leonard Williams to the Seattle Seahawks, as teams league-wide began making their final roster tinkering moves ahead of Tuesday's NFL trade deadline. The Seahawks will bolster their defensive line for a playoff push in the NFC, while the Giants will begin restocking for next season and beyond. New York will receive a second-round pick in next year's draft and a fifth-round pick in 2025 from Seattle. Williams is in his 9th NFL season and had stints with both the New York Giants and Jets. He's played defensive end and defensive tackle, has a total 39.5 career sacks, including a career-best 11.5 for the Giants in the 2020 season. He was selected for the Pro Bowl in 2016 while with the Jets. This is, of course, from the Washington Post. Nick, I think this is a huge move for Seattle. This guy could be a very big veteran presence in the middle of that defensive line, giving them a little bit of help. We know their secondary is fantastic. I think getting that pass rush, getting the middle of that defensive line beefed up a little bit, giving Mafe a guy to work with in the middle of the field. I think this is going to be absolutely great for the Seahawks. I want to know what your thoughts are on this. But Seahawks fans, we want to know, what do you think about this move? How do you like Leonard Williams coming to the Seahawks? I think it's a great selection. Let us know, though, what your thoughts are on this move in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about all of this for the Seahawks?
So it's interesting when the trade happened. I think a lot of people that I would consider not the smartest voices in the football world thought that the Seahawks got fleeced and the Giants came out as big winners, getting a second and a fifth from Seattle from a guy, Leonard Williams, who was most likely going to walk after this season. A lot of people were actually very critical of Seattle for how much they gave up. But I think people don't understand. I'm going to break down exactly why this is a great move by the Seattle Seahawks, just in terms of the value they're getting. So if you look at how draft picks are ranked and valued, it's basically an odds game to be a player that you select being a good player. So for example, if you pick in the first half of the first round, there's a 60% chance that guy will be a good player. The second half of the first round, there's a 50% chance. And that's how you value guys down the line. So if you look at what the Seattle Seahawks gave up, a second and a fifth, I believe. Was it a fourth or a fifth?
It was a fifth, Nick.
Fifth. So, okay, perfect. So if you give up a second and fifth, that roughly equates to a 25% chance someone will be a good player. Leonard Williams today is a good player. The Seahawks rented one good player, Leonard Williams, for one season. So if you look at the fact that any rookie deal is going to be 4 years, when you draft a guy in the second round, in this case, this is what the Giants would be theoretically doing. They're taking a 25% chance that they're going to get a good player for 4 seasons. So at any time you're in the front office, what you're always trying to do when you're acquiring players or draft picks, you're trying to build wins. You're trying to figure out, okay, if we bring this player into the fold, how much more additional wins do we get because we added him onto the football team? And let's just say, for simplicity's sake, Leonard Williams adds an extra win to whatever team he's on over the course of an entire season. So right now, the Seattle Seahawks, for the price of what they gave up, they got one more guaranteed win this season, right? They add Leonard Williams into the fold. He's worth one win. They gave up the second and a fifth. The New York Giants had a 25% chance of picking a good player, which Leonard Williams is, over the course of 4 seasons. So if you had Leonard Williams for 4 seasons, or a player of his caliber, that would be worth 4 wins. 25% of 4 is 1. So if you look at it from that perspective, the Giants literally got the exact same thing they gave up for Leonard Williams. So this is a perfectly fair trade in terms of value when you actually break down the numbers and the analysis in terms of how general managers think. That's exactly why. These kind of trades, by the way, are when the Seahawks, they win a lot of football games, even when they have to change quarterbacks. They're always in contention because they think in terms of this perspective. It's a Moneyball-ish kind of design, and it's worked out wonderfully for Seattle. That's why I encourage people to not spend time listening to the talking heads on Fox Sports or ESPN, because they don't take a look the way these GMs do. They're all about finding wins at the right price. That's exactly what the Seahawks did. And Leonard Williams is a really good football player who can upgrade this football team immediately.
Yeah, Nick. And not only is Leonard Williams very good, He's incredibly persistent. The former 6th overall pick of the 2015 draft. Let me read these numbers to you. 2015, 79 PFF grade, 81, 75, 77, 70, 79, 71, 74. This guy has been incredibly consistent throughout his entire career. You know exactly what you're getting if you're the Seattle Seahawks. And like you said, it's like the Giants, they trade Leonard Williams for the chance to maybe get a Leonard Williams back. So I think this guy has been a big time player for them. This guy had all the athleticism in the world back in 2015. He had that 4.9 40. That guy was 6'5", 300 plus pounds. This guy looked fantastic. I remember him playing on the Jets in the beginning. Looked really good. So I think the Seahawks got a great deal here. I think they gave up just a fair price for him. I think they get back a really good player who's going to help them right now. The Giants don't need the help right now. They're not looking too hot right now. Seahawks looking very good, and they get a guy on the defensive line who I think we're going to see down the stretch be a huge contributor for them going forward. I really like the moves that Snyder and Co. have done so far, and I think that this team is going to show a really improved product on the field because of this one move.
In mine, it's not just the fact of the value they got for this in terms of the assets they gave up. I had just something break across my screen here. They actually got the Giants to overcome basically 90+% of Leonard Williams' remaining contract. So the cap hit that the Seahawks are taking on by picking up Williams is essentially zero. So this has no cap ramifications of the Seahawks, roughly $7 million left over cap, whether they're going to use it this year to maybe pick up another backup if they need to later in the season, or if it's unused, it's extra cap space next season. So again, it's not just the fact they got a fair trade while they're looking to make a playoff push. Those are the moves you're looking for. They also did literally no damage to their camp at all. This is masterclass general management from the Seattle Seahawks. And look, this is why they're always in contention, and this is why they will continue to be in contention. Moves like this.